Welcome, fellow Americans, and thank you for joining us in the first airing of our special program. We are your hosts, Steve Rogers
and Peter Parker. This is Geeks Untold, your best source for all things geeky.
Hey, I didn't sign up to be made fun of. I thought this was an educational news program.
Wait. I think you're confused. I don't think you know what a geek really is.
I guess not. What does it mean?
Well, why don't we take a look at this segment and clear it up?
Throughout time, famous geeks have changed the way society perceives geeks and the term itself. They have changed society and even the world, but many people may not really know who these historical people actually are. Perhaps the most well-known of the influential geeks was a man named Walt Disney. As a young boy, Disney was obsessed with cartooning. His father often expressed to him that his drawings would get him nowhere in life. However, Walt believed in himself so much that despite his father's opinion, he attended college in Ohio and opened Disney Studios in 1923. Following many animated shorts on December 21st, 1937, Disney released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first ever full-length animated feature, which grossed $1 million and won a total of 8 Oscars. Other famous geeks include Alan Turing, who invented the computer in the midst of World War II. There's also Ralph H. Baer, a German scientist who's known as the father of video games. Ada Lovelace, who lived in the 19th century and wrote the first algorithm. Most of the information we have today about black holes would not be possible without the work of Stephen Hawking. Without people like them, geek culture today would definitely not be the same, and other geeks would not have the courage to step out and do what they want at heart.
Well, that was surely insightful.
Now do you understand more about what being a geek means?
I think so. Now let's take a look at what our sponsors have to say.
Loser, what you got there? You know why?
You know, I can really connect with our sponsor's message. Anyone can be their own superhero.
I think I can too. Hey Cap, aren't you curious about how the geek culture has changed since you were iced?
Well, it sure seems like people aren't as cold towards geeks as they used to be. Let's look at our segment and find out.
Hello, I'm Isabel Mansour. Throughout the years, the image of geeks has evolved and transitioned into a very accepted form of living. I'm here in front of Alakazam Comics, located on the University of California Irvine campus, to talk to real geek about their lifestyle and what it really means to be a geek. Let's go inside and see what they have to say.
Definition of a geek is probably someone who's really into something. Doesn't have to be anything particularly nerdy or anything like that, as long as you're really enthusiastic about it. They used to be more just fun. Comic books probably in the 90s used to be just putting things out there, worry about continuity later. Nowadays they're really worried about the whole universe and how it's going to reflect. And I think a lot of the movies have done that, where it's supposed to all connect. Before it was just all having fun and we'll connect it later, but now it's a little too thought out. It is a lifestyle, because when you're a true geek, it is something you have to commit a lot of time to. Either reading comics, watching TV, watching movies, researching it, doing internet community stuff, blogging. It's just, you commit a lot of time to it, and that is a lifestyle.
The first modern comic book, Famous Funnies, was released in the United States in 1933. The years 1938 through 1949 are known as the golden age for comic books, as this was a flourishing time in the industry. Companies sold up to 1 million copies per monthly issue. It is said that comic books such as Superman were popular this time in America because of immigration occurring in the United States. One major element for geeks, other than comic books, is on the virtual side. Video games have become a major part of the geek world.
think like just judging how we go from, like you said, the Game Boy all the way to something in like 3D visuals and now like virtual reality with Oculus Rift and other headsets like that. It's pretty sweet. I am like very excited to see where this is going. So online gaming gives you the access to not just like one or two other people that you may know, but it gives you access to a whole variety of people like worldwide. You have the access to people in like Canada, another country, another state, halfway across the world. You just build bonds with them, and now you're playing with them.
As you can see, the image and life of a geek has changed drastically since when the word first began. Whether these modern geeks enjoy comic books or competitive gaming, there's no saying where it may lead us next. Only time will tell as geeks continue to thrive and develop.
Peter, I think you're right. Geeks really have changed a lot since my time.
So, have you embraced your geek side?
I'd say I have. There seems to be more to geek than meets the eye. Well, we're out of time, so catch us next time for our next installment of Geeks Untold!
Hello, welcome to the second and better installment of Geeks Untold, a program by geeks about geeks. We're your host,
Clark Kent.
and Diana Prince.
Who?
Diana, the Amazonian princess.
I'm sorry, who?
I'm Wonder Woman.
Oh, right. Well, anyway, welcome to Geeks Untold.
Our friends over at Marvel told you about what a geek was. They never mentioned just how many geeks there are in the world today.
Or the lifestyle that can spring from being a geek.
Our first segment will showcase the variety of geekdoms today.
Hello, I'm Jordan Zahoni. At LCAT in Laguna Beach, there's a game art gallery where students can showcase their work. There are a variety of geeks outside your typical gamer or comic book lover. Let's take a look at the different types.
I'm an art geek, and what that means to me is I'm passionate about the way something looks, aesthetics. In our classes, we kind of learn a wide scope of things for game art because there's kind of two halves of it. There's the 2D half, which is concept, where you learn how to like come up with ideas and design things. You make like two-dimensional paintings that kind of inspire the other half of the artwork, which is the 3D artists who like basically create that 2D thing into 3 dimensions.
Another activity that many people have an interest in is LARPing, which stands for live action role playing.
About 3 years ago, one of my friends who I played Magic the Gathering with, he invited me to come do a LARP. I had no clue what LARP was, and he brought me out, and I've enjoyed it ever since. With the sword fighting, we dress up in armor, generally between 40 and 80 pounds. A lot of people go to the World Championship overseas in Spain. I haven't done that yet, but I'm hoping to go next year. And we just fight, we get together, and we just hit each other with blunted swords.
These LARPers meet 3 to 4 times a week to battle and practice their sword fighting skills. They take battling very seriously while having a fun time doing it. People of all age and size are welcome to participate, of course at their own risk. Though we only touched up on a few of the hobbies that your so-called geeks enjoy, there are plenty of other activities not only geeks enjoy.
You see, being a geek can't be confined to one stereotype.
But Diana, aren't there some people that just scream geek?
Funny you should ask. Our sponsors have something very different to say about that.
Nerd.
Oh, wow. I guess they're right. I mean, I can relate to the whole double life thing.
So can I. People should stop judging a book by its cover.
I was once told the boys you make fun of as a kid are the men you work for as an adult.
And women, geeks are taking the workforce by storm, and there are an astonishing amount of girls in the geek community today.
Too true. Let's take a look at our final segment to learn more.
Being a geek is mostly considered a hobby, but many people have turned it into a career. Some of the richest people alive could be considered geeks and have made a living out of their geeky passion. Hi, I'm Gavin Conlon, and I'm here at a gaming company called In Exile Entertainment, known for such games as Wasteland 2 and Torment, Tides of Numenera.
Currently, we're creating RPGs. We just finished a game called Wasteland 2, working on a new game called Torment. You know, our games are role-playing games, and they're also strategic. So the role-playing part of it is you create unique characters, and the strategic part is how you attack and work your way through the world.
Some have made careers out of teaching others how to be a geek. There are web shows and even a few TV shows that are dedicated to teaching others the geek culture and how to be a geek. One of these shows is called OC Gaming Review, a weekly web series hosted by Diva and Bones, who present their viewers with the latest news in the gaming universe.
I think games have definitely been bringing people together. There's a lot of platforms now where you can interact with different people. It's no longer just at your computer by yourself. Well, in the literal sense, you are by yourself, but there's a greater sense of community.
Video games have had a strong influence on the geek community, with young enthusiasts playing them from a very early age, so it's not a shock that it's a very popular career field for geeks around the world.
It's a really harsh environment for, you know, an entertainment industry that is actually as large as it is.
It comes down to your portfolio. It comes down to what you can show somebody. And I think that goes for anything in video games. If you can show them, if you can go, here, this is the artwork that I did, it's so powerful.
As you can see, being a geek isn't meaningless. It's something that may benefit you later in your life so that you can make a living of doing something that you truly love. So whatever you're geeky about, whether it be comics, gaming, or sports, stay passionate, because you never know where that passion could take you.
You see, geeks are wonderful.
And super.
Unfortunately, we're all out of time for today.
I wish I could reverse the Earth's orbit to go back in time so we could watch it all again. Well, be sure to fly on by for our last installment of
Geeks Untold.
Hello world, welcome to the best and final installment of Geeks Untold, your favorite program starring geeks like us. We're your hosts,
Tony Stark
and Bruce Wayne.
Sorry Bruce, I know it must suck that the Avengers and I can totally dominate your team any day of the week.
Are you kidding me? The Justice League has more power than the president.
Okay, whatever you say. This is the guy who's nothing without his fancy schmancy gadgets.
Look who's talking, man.
Point taken.
Moving on, we've got a lot in store for you guys today.
Let's take a look at our first segment where you will get a behind-the-scenes view of geeks in their natural habitat, conventions. Maybe someone cosplayed as their dead parents.
Conventions are an important part to geek culture all across the world. They're a place for people within their fandoms to group together to see the creators and meet other like-minded fans. There are many types of conventions where people can visit different vendors, connect with those with similar interests, and express themselves through their geek pride. Conventions are also a place where geeks can meet their idols and talk to them personally. People from across the nation come to attend conventions.
It's like one giant family. I mean,
We just met.
We're like best friends, and we're gonna like move to Switzerland and build a castle.
One way people can express their geek pride is by dressing up or cosplaying as their favorite characters from the fandoms they enjoy. Cosplaying is a way for individuals to express their talent and passions for TV shows, comics, and movies.
Ash from the Evil Dead series. Seemed like a simple costume. Old work shirt, old work pants.
Conventions have been around for almost half a century. The first comic book related convention, Comic-Con, took place in New York in 1964, with no more than 100 people attending.
I go to Comic-Con every year and WonderCon every year. I think it's a great place to bring people together other than the internet. This is like a real place people can meet and meet up in different costumes, and it's one place where everyone's like-minded and can all share the same joy for something.
Since then, it has become an international phenomenon, with conventions taking place all over the world, giving geeks a place to come together no matter where they live. It has expanded from small events to larger venues, as well as acceptance of other types of passions, rather than just comic books. Many of the people that attend conventions today have never actually read comic books.
It gives me a chance to just sort of be, and like I don't have to worry about everyone else being like, oh, you're a nerd.
From comics to film or gardening or sports, there's a convention for you. They're a place for people to connect with others, learn something new about their interests, or discover something new entirely. This is Braden Swope, signing off from WonderCon, Anaheim.
Wow, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to start a convention of my own. The Batman Brigade.
Sounds amazing. I won't be anywhere in that vicinity. That place would be flying with the Batman geeks.
Don't be too quick to judge. There may be many more than just Bat geeks there.
Well, that leads us to our next segment, where we will be able to get the public's view on what a geek really is.
This should be Batastic.
What is your definition of a geek?
Someone who's really into like comic books, doesn't, I don't know, like go outside a lot.
Somebody that's like a nerd, somebody that's maybe real technical oriented, and maybe not very much outgoing.
Into computers, very smart.
A nice person who just happens to be smart because God blessed them with above average intelligence and intellect.
Do you consider yourself a geek at all?
Not really. Like I'm on the computer a lot, but I like also go outside, so. No way.
Others might.
No.
I love Star Wars, so yeah.
Do you have any kind of activities or just things that you do on a regular basis that like you're really into?
I used to be a dancer, so I still dance a lot.
Angels baseball's #1.
I like sports. I like reading.
Motorcycles.
Motorcycles, yeah.
Yes.
Dirt bikes.
But what if I told you that the definition of a geek is somebody who has an unbridled passion for anything and like anything that they do on all the time? What would you consider yourself more or less of a geek, knowing that that's the definition?
Yeah, you could say I'm like a health geek.
Yeah, I would agree. Yes.
Passion, maybe. We're both civil engineers, so some people consider us to be geeks.
Absolutely. I think we're all geeks at heart.
Interesting. There sure are plenty of different views out there.
Yeah, it's just like how millions of people are deeply in love with me.
You wish. I have more movies than you have superpowers.
Joke's on you. I don't have powers.
Shush. I don't think our sponsors will be very happy to see us fighting like this. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
I guess there is one thing that we can both agree on.
That I'm a geek, you're a geek.
We're all geeks. Glad we could end this episode on a good note.
Well, sorry to inform you, but this is our last installment. Thank you for tuning in to
Geeks Untold.